Welcome back to the Thriving Mom Summit. I'm the host and creator of the summit, Carrie Thompson, and I help overwhelmed moms create sustainable rhythms and routines so that they can have more peace, priority based productivity, and purpose. I'm excited today to have Rosie Guagliardo joining us. Rosie, the founder of InnerBrilliance Coaching LLC, has loved being a certified life and career coach for 14 years and Forbes contributor, as well as author of her upcoming book, Connecting the Dots for Your Ideal Life, a guide for high achievers to find success and happiness in life plus work plus love. Within her coaching practice, she works with high achieving people to help them discover an easier way of living where they can experience results for their life and career with more joy daily. She combines her Northwestern psychology degree along with her coaching certification and 18 years of advertising experience to help her clients create the life results they desire. Thanks so much for joining us today, Rosie.
Thanks, Carrie. It's so nice to be here.
Well, you are welcome. And Rosie, I want to get started by asking you to tell us your story. So, a little more about you and how you got started in your business.
Well, basically, I was in advertising and marketing for over a decade, but I knew I wanted to make a shift in my life. So I explored some different career options, ended up deciding I wanted to go for coaching, which was very exciting. But then the recession hit in 2008. So I decided to actually build my business on the side while working in my advertising job for 6 years. And that really inspired me and taught me how to help, like you said, high achievers go for their goals, but actually enjoy the process. Because as you can imagine, working two jobs, including a competitive job like advertising and building your own business, can be a little intense. So I really was able to learn and apply tools to help myself see that there could be a different way to live, one where I don't always have to be feeling frustrated or exhausted in the process to go for my goals. And that's when I really wanted to make sure I could share this approach with other people. And I created a program called Be Perfectly You. So now I've been in business over 14 years sharing this program.
Wow. So, you've taken your personal experience and how you made changes so that you could thrive and enjoy the process. I love that you brought that up because so many times moms and individuals set goals and they're just so driven to that end period, reaching that goal. But instead, they forget about enjoying the journey and applying tools and principles and strategies to have more joy in the process. So I love that you talk about how important that process is. And now you're helping others achieve the same joy daily. So, who do you typically work with in your practice?
So it's like we just said, high achievers, but we want them to enjoy the process more, which I know sometimes can sound cliche, but it's really true because we can achieve a goal and then we're happy, what, for a minute and a half. And then we go back to ruminating or worrying about what we need to do and what needs to get done. So I feel like why not enjoy the process, because that's actually takes up much more of our daily lives, right? It's the day to day, what we're doing. So, to your point, if we could experience joy, ease, and grace along the way, it's just a game changer. So, I actually say I work with happier high achievers. I help them to be happier along the way.
Happier high achievers. I love it. I know I've been guilty of it, Rosie, where I set a goal. I'm just so focused on that goal. And then I achieve the goal. And I feel like it should have made me happier when I achieved the goal. And then I'm like, well, what's our new goal? And there's always something more, something more, something more. And what I've realized when I reflect back is that the gold is in the process. It's in the learning. It's in the missteps. It's in the wisdom that we learn each and every step of the way. So I love that you help high achievers be happy in the process because life's too short to just always be focused on that end goal in mind when there's the precious present to be joyful in, joy filled in. So that's great.
I love that. Joy filled, absolutely. And, you mentioned something so important is that, you want to focus on when we focus on the end, we're missing in that moment. And all these, I like to think of it as creating happier mini moments every time, right? Every day throughout the day. So I just love that you notice that. And to add on to what you said we might be missing out on, or what we could be experiencing more of, is that if we're just focused on the end goal, you might not feel that fulfilled. So you can feel actually more fulfilled by the outcome if you are enjoying the process and the journey.
Oh, that makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Being able to really just relish that accomplishment because you enjoyed each step along the way. Now, maybe not each and every day and each and every step, because it's a process. We're imperfect, we have missteps, but we learn and grow from that. And I think it's the growth too, is what I'm hearing you say in achieving those goals. So I'd love some advice, practical tips. So, how do you help these high achievers achieve their goals and experience what they desire? So, that happiness and more joy day to day.
Mhm. Basically, what I do is I help them understand, or I should say, better understand how they operate. Because we all know in life, things will happen, like you were saying, right? There's going to be these moments, and we can't control those moments, those situations, or the people. I know I've tried. It doesn't work. I think we all have, right? But what we can do is we can regulate and own how we show up. So I created an energy management method to help people get really clear on what they want and actually have the energy and the inspiration to go for what they desire.
Energy, that word, Rosie. I'm sure moms, their ears perked up because they hear that energy. Wait, what a minute, wait, because moms can get fatigued, exhausted, depleted. And this Thriving Mom Summit is all about helping us learn to go from surviving day to day to thriving in this motherhood journey. So, you talked a little bit about it, but can you expand on your approach? What's included in your approach?
Sure. Basically, it's exercises and assessments to help people get really clear on what energizes them. And that can include getting clear on your priorities. To your point, I mean, busy moms, you want to do it all, I'm sure. Who doesn't, right? Any high achiever does. But if you need to get clear on your priorities and what you value and what you honor, because we simply can't do it all. And then you start to know where to channel your energy. But even in you could do that so well, but we also need to do is notice how you feel in the present moment, specifically spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally, to determine how you even want to move forward and not letting that assessment or evaluation hold you back. Because I'm sure every day we can be like, well, I'm not feeling it today, or I don't have the energy. That's not really the point. It's more to just be aware of it. And then you can know what you need to do more specifically. I also created some tools to have a vision for what your day could look like, what your week could look like, even what your life could look like. And I think that's important because when you have this vision that actually inspires you or pulls you forward versus pushing you forward, it's really helpful because I know you know this, Carrie, but when we're pushing ourselves, it's really a short term strategy for success. We want to look at longer term strategies for success. And willpower or random tools really don't help you, they just don't work. So if you can create a system, or I like to say a matrix, to develop situations and scenarios where you can make better decisions, and they're not only making better decisions, they're easier to make, then you'll end up flowing through your day more, right? And this is basically what I mean by building your energy, preserving it, maintaining it, and then leveraging all that to move you forward.
Thanks, Rosie. I love your speaking my language when you talked about priorities. and what matters to moms in the season of life that they're in. And then chiseling away the unnecessary items that are on their plate so that then they can laser focus on their priorities and then develop a matrix and create a vision for where they'd like to be after reflecting on where they're at now. And I love that you talked about peeling back the layers, getting curious on where they're at now, but not placing judgment on it. So that curiosity and then moving forward instead of just the guilt and the shame and the judgment with feelings, oh, well, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. You're just like awareness. We've got this awareness and then we can look big picture because you're right that willpower is going to fade. We need to shed into our true self so that we can move forward and make decisions that align with what we value most. That's good.
Absolutely, Carrie. You know you're speaking my language.
Well, I guess we're speaking the same language. That
Same
I'm
language.
loving what you're saying, Rosie. And what can support moms on their journey?
So when I feel like things could be a little chaotic, what can we do again? What can we control? Is we can create what you might hear in the professional world as structures, systems, and processes to make things happen. Or in our personal lives, I think we use different words, but they mean the same thing, such as support, rituals, routines, right? They're basically saying similar things. And what we can do is if we can create those routines and structures, I know you can be better able at focusing on your values. In fact, I work with my clients to do that. We uncover what's important to them, their priorities, their values, and then we create desired outcomes based on them. And I call it desired outcomes instead of goals because that sounds like a lot more fun, but also, right? Um, but also, like we said earlier, we want to pull them forward. So if we know that we're basing these goals or desired outcomes on their values, they're just going to be more excited to go for them because values really represent what gives you pleasure and meaning. And who doesn't want more of that in their lives? And then you want to build your life based on that. It's just, this is where you start to see the flow. And you hit on the other important point that I feel like if I could talk about this all day long, it's acceptance of yourself, acceptance of where you are. This is why I call my program Be Perfectly You. Not to be perfect, of course. I joke I'm a recovering perfectionist, but it's really when you're when you Carrie, it sounds like you understand.
Yeah.
When you're really understanding how you feel and you accept it, it actually liberates you to move forward, but in an informed way versus letting our subconscious mind or old ways of thinking take over the old ways of behavior, right? So we know then with this clarity and this awareness, we can focus on the few things we need to get things done and ultimately feel our best. And we know when we're feeling our best and happier, that actually fuels us for the next step. So that's part of that energy management method I was talking about.
Oh, that's great, Rosie. That alignment, living in alignment with our values, and then creating desired outcomes that are aligned with what matters most to us. And then it's that momentum, it's that confidence, it's that drive that comes naturally because you're living in alignment. So, yes, it all kind of flows together and helps us thrive day in and day out because you know what? Curveballs come our way, unforeseen circumstances. But when we've got that foundation with us, it'll help carry us through in that flow state. So good.
Absolutely.
So this has been so great, all the information you shared. But do you have anything else that you'd like to share to help inspire and empower moms?
Yes, absolutely. I know there could be a lot going on. And like I mentioned, if we could just channel our energy into our priorities and trust ourselves that making yourself happy, feeling joy in the moment actually can fuel you for your next steps, then what could be possible? I feel like so much is possible. And going back to my energy management method, what happens is you're feeling good energy. And as you can imagine, the people around you, most importantly, your children will feel it. And when I've worked with moms, I've been told by so many different moms that their children actually are impacted by our work because the mom's feeling better. So I love that that's a possibility. When mom feels good, kids and family can feel a lot better.
Yes. So it has an impact, how we feel about ourselves, how we know ourselves, how we're living. Are we living in alignment with our values? Absolutely has an impact with those around us, especially our kids. So thanks for bringing that up. And now, Rosie, I know that moms will be excited to learn more from you. And you have a free gift that you're offering summit attendees. Can you tell us about that free gift?
Absolutely. It's called Your InnerBrilliance Weekly Planner. And as I was mentioning, there's so much for you to be juggling. So why not get it on one piece of paper and you can see all that you need to do in one spot. And what happens when you plan things out, that negative self talk in the back of your mind starts to quiet down. So any of that doubt or lack of trust you might be feeling can be mitigated when you have a plan. Best part is you don't have to stick to it rigidly, right? It's just about giving you some inspiration, like I mentioned earlier, to pull you forward. So, specifically in this planner, what you'll see is that with more clarity, more awareness of where you are, again, you can focus on what you need to get done. And it's not about just what you're doing, it's what really fires you up. That's when we're going to get more things done. Plus, I have a special section for gratitude and self acknowledgement. And that's so important because we often hear about the importance of gratitude, which I love that it's spoken about so much. But I want you to add one more tool in there, especially moms, and that is to acknowledge yourself, to thank yourself. And that's so important because what it does is it installs that positive information in your subconscious mind. And that matters because it'll elevate your self worth. It'll reinforce that you're doing well. And again, we all know that with a deeper sense of self worth, you can experience more of what you desire. And by that, I mean in an easier way, not one where we're stressing and struggling and feeling frustrated. What happens is you exude a new, vibrant energy. And that really can help you attract people and situations and opportunities that align with your priorities and your desires. So I'm really excited to share what is a simplified tool to help you get started and to keep your energy flowing.
Excellent. Did you hear that, moms? Simplified tool, not a complicated mess that you have to do perfectly because no one's perfect. We have that plan in place just to help guide us and to decrease some of that negative thinking that goes on in our head. Rosie, this has been so informative. The hope, the encouragement, the practical tips and strategies that you've talked about today have been so informative. And I really thank you for your time and sharing value with fellow moms like me.
Thanks, Carrie. This was such an honor. Thank you for the opportunity. And it's such a joy to connect with you.
You're very welcome.